And good morning, everyone. Welcome to this day. It is Monday, October 21st, just 10 days until Halloween, believe it or not. You wouldn't know it by this weather. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. On our show today, we're going to bring you a segment that Lisa did with Congresswoman Katie Porter, and you'll find out what's going on. Really, she was talked mainly about senior issues, so good conversation. Also, I'd like to welcome back Scott Farthing from Saddleback College and their wonderful theater arts and media arts department. It's great to have him back. He's going to talk about a couple of productions that are coming up, and it's getting to that time of the year where all their wonderful holiday events are happening as well. Now we're also going to bring you the Laguna Woods Garden Club here today, and a couple ladies are coming on, and they're particularly talking about what's going on with the Great Park, and they're going to be having a meeting coming up that's going to tell all about that and the garden center up there. And we'll bring you a segment from RadNet as well. Now, as far as meetings go today, there is only one. That's the GRF Media and Communications Committee. That will be at 1:30 in the boardroom. Now let's get to the weather. And we're starting off warm this week. Now, the good news was we did not get in, at least really in general throughout Southern California, we didn't get in those strong Santa Ana winds. They were gusty in certain areas way to the north of us, but for our area, we just didn't get that. In the weekend, really Sunday, yesterday, and Saturday, the temperatures were fairly mild, but they're going up over the next couple days here. You can see we're going to be in the upper 80s, touching about 89. On Tuesday, we're going to see that drop on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday, we're getting in kind of the same condition that I forecast for the weekend. Meaning we're going to get some of those offshore Santa Ana winds. Now, right now, they look, at least for this area, like fairly mild winds, but they will be there. But look at the temperatures. We're back up to get maybe 90 degrees on Thursday, Friday 87. By the way, looking way ahead to Saturday and Sunday, we're going to see those temperatures drop and start to see some fog coming in, probably Friday night. So we'll see how that goes, but that's how it is right now. And hopefully, we don't get too bad of winds. Like I said, the last couple days, they just didn't materialize down here. They stayed mainly to the north, and even up there, thankfully, they were not strong. Let's look around the area, and all the temperatures up. Look at the beaches. That's right, 86 degrees for the average. And by the way, when I look at the beach temperatures, I look at Huntington, Newport, and Laguna Beach, and I kind of average those out. So 86 degrees. Everywhere else, you can just see there in the upper 80s to mid-90s here in the northern Orange County area. Arrowhead 72, Palm Springs 94, and San Diego 92. So an overall a warm week. We'll see that drop on Wednesday and then go right back up again. Okay, we'll be back in just a moment.
Your attention. Please take down this number. Did you know that adults with untreated hearing loss experience a 30 to 40% faster decline in cognitive abilities and are more likely to develop dementia? Those with a mild hearing loss are 3 times more likely to have a history of falling. An annual hearing screening is urgent for memory care to help prevent cognitive decline and thus delay the onset of dementia. Free hearing checkups are now being offered free of charge. If you have not had an annual hearing exam, please take advantage of this free opportunity. If hearing loss is detected, hearing aids will be available to try for 10 days. Evaluations only take 30 minutes, but you must call for an appointment. Hearing screening is urgent for memory care. Please take preventive action. Call now.
Welcome back. Today I have Congresswoman Katie Porter here with us, who's been in Washington, and I know you have a lot to fill us in, so how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I've been going back and forth now since January 3rd when I was sworn in. That was a very fun day, beginning this responsibility. It was also my 45th birthday, so it was a pretty special event.
Special birthday.
But I fly back and forth most weeks. The commute is long. I think that's one of the hardest parts about doing the job, is just the need to go back and forth and really be working hard in both places for the people of the 45th district.
Right, and you said it was like 10 hours, right?
It's 10 hours door to door. I fly out of our local airport, John Wayne, make a connection, and then when I land in DC, I go straight to the Capitol to vote that first night. Usually we'll be in DC for 2, 3, 4 days, then get back on the airplane and reverse it, come back here into the district and take meetings. So this morning I met with the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to learn more about how they're supporting our local businesses. And after I finish up here, I'm going to go read a book at an elementary school and tour some of their tech classrooms.
Oh, that's great. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to do, not just for seniors, but for everybody here in our district. Is there anything in particular that was hard for you when you first got to Congress?
I mean, I think one of the things that you don't think about is just that the Capitol is a big complex. And so I can't tell you how grateful I am to all of the existing members on both sides of the aisle, Republican or Democrat. I spent a lot of time asking, is this the right fun part of it?
Oh, that's great. So we have our 55 and over community, and I think one of the most important things to seniors is Medicare.
Yep.
And you know, that's coming up, open enrollment is coming up pretty soon. What are some of the things that you can share with us about what's going on with Medicare?
Well, one of the things we've been working hard to address is the cost of prescription drugs within Medicare. And you know, we hear a lot from constituents about how they're being hit with high prescription drug costs. We have the so-called donut hole in how we're addressing prescription drugs. So there's a new bill being proposed by the Democratic caucus that would reduce and cap the amount that seniors have to pay out of pocket. And so they would have certainty as to the maximum amount that they would have to owe. We're also working to make it possible for Medicare to directly negotiate drug prices. So right now there's a provision that prohibits the government from negotiating drug prices. And that's a real problem, not just for seniors who then end up paying higher prices, but for all of us who are paying taxes to help support the Medicare program. So that's one of our top priorities when I head back to Washington next week.
Okay, and then, so obviously prescription drugs, and then what about you know, just going to the doctor and things like that? Are things still being, are they being covered or are they being denied?
Well, one of the things we're working on is making sure that all of people who are on Medicare have choices, that they can go to the doctors that they prefer, and also working to make sure that reimbursement rates are sufficient to keep people taking Medicare. I know that there are certain areas, for example, mental health, where a lot of the psychiatrists or psychologists don't take Medicare, and this leaves seniors paying out of pocket for much needed health care. So I'm part of the mental health caucus, and that's one of the things that we're looking at, is how do we make sure that providers are getting reimbursed at a fair rate so that people can keep their preferred doctors and continue to get that continuity of care as they move from private insurance into the Medicare system.
Oh, that would be great. All right, good. And then, gosh, you know, I'm going to be interviewing a group that helps prevent fraud with Medicare, and now there's frightening things that are happening with Medicare where they can get the number and they can charge things. What are some things that you're doing about that?
Well, Medicare fraud really hurts us all. It obviously hurts the seniors, but it also is ultimately about abusing the taxpayer system. We all contribute to the Medicare system, and we're all counting on it to be there for us. And so I fought for additional funding for an existing program that we have that helps identify and combat fraud in the Medicare system. And so I'm really hopeful that when we see the Senate come back with their version of the appropriations bill, that this is something that we can put more resources into. So a little bit of money spent here in preventing Medicare fraud actually saves a lot of taxpayer dollars from being abused on the back end. So I'm excited about that amendment.
And so that is on a federal level?
That's on a federal level, absolutely.
Okay. All right. What are some things that you think seniors could do to help prevent that here?
Yeah, so one of the things I'll just encourage anyone to do, whether it's a fraud-related issue or any kind of problem with accessing their Medicare benefits, is to reach out to our office. So we have our main offices in Irvine, and we have folks who work in the district who are happy to come and do roundtables or do presentations. But if you're having problems with your Medicare benefits, if you suspect Medicare fraud, you can call our office, and we're happy to help assist you, try to make an appropriate referral, for instance, to the Inspector General if necessary. So I just encourage people who need help with any federal agency, whether it's veterans benefits, Medicare, to reach out. We just welcomed, today I just did a video introducing the constituents to our new Wounded Warrior Fellow.
Oh, great.
So I'm really excited to welcome him to the district. It's a national program, bipartisan, to help people who have been honorably discharged after 5 years of active duty to be able to get experience working in Congress. So we in the 45th District are really honored to be one of the areas that was chosen to host this Wounded Warrior Fellow. So particularly for those out there who are struggling to access VA health care, I encourage them to also call our office for help.
Oh, that's great. Now, if they can also go to your website, and that would have all the information too. And that's
absolutely
porter.house.gov, right?
Porter.house.gov, and there you can sign up for a newsletter if you'd like to receive updates and information. I recently sent out a newsletter about what we're doing with higher education. We did one last month about our work on talking to environmentalists here in the district, including a lot of wonderful older Americans and seniors who in their time are working on conservation projects, protecting wildlife, and making sure that our, their kids and their grandkids are going to be able to enjoy the beauty here in Orange County.
Nice, that's great. I know we talked about the bills. Run some statistics by me regarding some healthcare costs. You talk a little bit about the tax deductions that are maybe not offsetting families. What do they need to?
So one of the things that changed recently in our tax code, President Trump proposed a tax bill. It was passed into law, and a couple of changes have really been hitting hard here locally. One of them of particular importance to seniors. So one of the changes is that there's a cap now on the amount of state and local tax that you can deduct from your federal tax. So that cap is $10,000 for a lot of us because of the cost of our homes, because of our local taxes. They hit that cap. So we held a tax town hall in April, got stories from folks around the district telling us what happened to your taxes this year. Did that deduction cause you to pay a higher tax bill than before? And this is an issue of tax fairness. This is falling very hard on California.
Exactly.
So that's something I'm leading the charge, bipartisan basis, cooperating across the aisle with others to try to repeal that change. In terms of seniors, one of the things that happened in the new tax law is that it raises the threshold of how much of your income has to be paid to medical expenses before you can take a deduction for those medical costs. So the previous threshold was 7.5%. If 7.5% of your income was being spent on medical bills, we said, wow, this person's being really cost burdened. We want to help them a little bit with their tax bill. The President Trump's tax law raises that amount to 10% of your income. For about 800,000 Americans, that's going to prevent them from taking this tax deduction. And at a time when healthcare costs are such a struggle for families, we need to be making it easier for families to get help with paying for medical costs, not making it harder. So I have a bill that would make permanent that 7.5% threshold, which again is going to provide some tax benefits for families who are dealing with high healthcare costs.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's good information. And then AARP, what is this the bill that they're endorsing, or is there a different one?
Yep, no, so we have a great support from senior organizations for this bill. We also have a bill that we've been working on to help with home care costs. So as people begin to age, their needs change. A lot of folks have made contributions over the years to what are called health savings accounts, or HSAs. And there's a list of expenses that you can use, qualified expenses, your HSA for. I have a bipartisan bill, again, cooperating with a Republican, that would make it possible for people to use their hard-saved HSA dollars to pay for home care as they age. So rather than letting those dollars just sit in an account, we're trying to free them up so people can use their own money to meet their medical needs. So I'm very hopeful, because that's a bipartisan bill, I'm hopeful we're going to be able to bring that into law here in the upcoming months.
So when you say home care, are we talking about nurses or assistants?
Nurse visits, potentially kinds of hospice care, physical therapy that might be better performed in the home, for instance, for patients who may not be able to travel easily. And so really the goal of this health savings account is to let people plan for their medical needs in the future. And of course, home care is part of that. And so if people are better cared for with better outcomes in the home, they should be able to use their accounts to pay for that.
I think that's a great one, because sometimes you don't always know what's covered under the HSA. I mean, you have lists, but they're a little vague.
They're vague and they change, and so this is an effort to kind of expand and match people's needs to the parameters of the program.
Now, before we came on, we were talking a little bit about the voting system and how it's going to change. Can you give us some insight into that?
Yeah, we're so fortunate here in Orange County to have an amazing registrar of voters. I know he's come on the channel many times to talk about how to vote. And so this year we're going to see some changes. And these changes are really designed to do two things, both of which I think are terrific. One is to reduce the costs of the voting system. So we, like every jurisdiction, we need to keep making improvements to ensure the security and the safety, integrity of our voting system. And then the other is to make it easier for people to vote, including people who maybe can't drive, people who work different shift schedules, just can't get there 9 to 5 on election day. So we're going to be moving to a system of voting centers and also much increased participation by vote by mail. So everyone's going to be getting a vote by mail ballot. And they can return that if it's easier for them than going in person. So I just encourage everyone to make sure they're registered to vote. You can go to the Orange County Registrar of Voters website, double check your registration, because our primary elections here in California are moved way up. So March 3rd, California, this area, Orange County, is going to be going to the ballot box, and I hope to see everybody taking part in that important civic responsibility.
All right, well, thank you very much. It was very nice to see you.
So much.
And have a great time in Washington and the rest of your weekend here in Orange County.
Thank you so much.
All right. And remember that, as Katie mentioned, you definitely need to make sure that you register to vote so you can be a part of the primary coming up in March. We'll be right back after this.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From a delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
Welcome back. Well, it's always a pleasure to have Scott Farthing on from wonderful Saddleback College and their Media Arts Department. Over the years, he's been talking about some of the great productions that they have here. So I'd like to welcome him back. And this time I'm welcoming you back as interim dean as well.
Yes. Since July 1st for a year, 1 year. I get to do this job, so it's fun. It's advocating for all of my colleagues and our students. So it's actually quite a privilege to be able to do this.
Well, you've been involved there for how many years now?
This is my 14th year at Saddleback.
Yeah, and I'm always impressed by all the productions that they do down there. And I've been to a couple of them, certainly the Feast of Lights, which is wonderful.
Thank you.
And just the level of quality of really the students as far as their acting ability, their singing ability, their writing, I mean, and even, I know, directing as well, right?
We have, first of all, we have one of the best faculties around. We have the best acting teachers, and then we have a whole slew of professional designers, and we have a professional lighting designer, costume designer, technical director that are all working people. They're full-time at Saddleback, but they're also doing all of these amazing things around with like Laguna Playhouse, with Pasadena Playhouse.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Wow.
They're all Ovation Award winners. Our technical director, Mike McCormick, was just working on the Emmys. And so our students get to study with these fantastic people. And then they put together these productions that are, it's like you're going to Segerstrom. Yeah. And it's just top notch. It really is.
Now, as far as the different programs that you have there, you have both, for lack of a better term, on stage and behind stage as well, directing, writing, all that, right?
We do. We have an entertainment theater technology program, which teaches students how to build the sets, how to light the sets, how to costume the actors. Yeah. And then we have a conservatory level acting training program that's headed by William Francis McGuire, who's always in Christmas Carol at South Coast Rep, and Hal Landon, who actually is Scrooge, which is oddly enough his last season this year at South Coast Rep, is one of our acting teachers as well.
Wow.
So our kids get the best training.
Yeah.
And it's at a community college, which is like, how is this possible? But we've managed to get just a really wonderful collection of people doing and working on these productions.
Yeah, and it's been quite successful.
It really has, and we've been able to do some really interesting work. We're always encouraged to take chances. And so when you see a show at Saddleback, it's not going to be just like you saw it any other place.
Right.
Everything is always has a unique spin to it. It's designed beautifully, and it's well supported. It really, we're lucky to be in an environment where the arts are important. And
Yeah.
that
is, yeah.
that's one of the most important things we can have.
And I know at times you'll have two productions going on at once. You have one in the McKinney and then one in the Black Box Theater. That happened a couple years ago. I remember you were doing, of course, the Feast of Lights, but then you were also doing Charlie Brown.
Right.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Right. And actually there were 3 things I can remember
Oh,
that
were
year.
there?
Because there'll be the main stage production in McKinney, then the Black Box Theater, and then like the student art sale will be happening in our art gallery. So you'll have, 1,000, 1,500 people at the same time in the same place.
Wow.
All doing different things.
Yeah.
And enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah, and one of the wonderful things about that is the fact that it's so reasonably priced to see these productions.
Absolutely.
Honestly, it's incredible.
I mean, it is. So, for instance, we have a new promotional thing that we're doing this year where you buy tickets for all 4 shows that we're doing all year and for the price of 3 shows.
Yeah, and I asked you about this because
Sure.
one of the things that Scott sent me says Peter, Carol, Heather, and Hound, and we'll put it up here. And I was like, I'm not sure what that is, but so explain this.
So our first show is Peter and the Starcatcher. Second show is Inspecting Carol, which is based off of A Christmas Carol.
Oh,
And then
okay.
Heathers, which is from the 1980s teen movie Heathers. So there's a
I
musical
remember
version.
that.
It's a musical version of it, which is completely off the wall. And then we close the season with The Real Inspector Hound. And funny about Heathers, we hired a new director this year by the name of Luke Yankee. And Luke is the son of Academy Award-winning actor Eileen Heckert, who you might remember from the movie Bus Stop with Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, okay.
And so he's written this new play about Mom, Marilyn, and me. I mean, the man was babysat by Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
And he's grown up in this really fascinating
lucky
way.
guy.
Really lucky guy. But he's bringing all of his experience to work with our students,
Yeah.
which goes back to this incredible faculty that we have.
Yeah.
And the students all respond so well, and they work at such a high level with such an incredible commitment. And I can talk about how wonderful the shows are, but really it's how wonderful these students are.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really try to talk and always remind people is you're not just going to see a show. Every time you buy a ticket, you're actually supporting a student.
Right,
And,
right.
and none of these things can happen without people being in the seats. And I found an interesting psychology when the students know that they have a big crowd coming.
Yes.
It's not that they work harder,
Yeah.
because they're always working harder, but they're working prouder.
Yes.
And they stay, and I think, especially in this day and age when it's so easy to be beat down and self-esteem is such an issue and people are, all these negative things that happen, to watch our students kind of stand taller,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
is one of the most beautiful things that we have.
Yeah, and I know what you mean because although I wasn't the greatest singer and any of that, I did plays in high school, but I know that feeling.
Right.
And I remember, I think I've told you the story. I used to have the director tell me and a friend, he goes, just mouth the words, you guys, because what I was saying was, and we never took offense at that. We were like, you're right. We thought it was funny that he would say that because he liked that we were in the play. He liked what we were doing, but we were like, yeah, he's right. I never took offense at that.
Well, that's good, because that would damage a lot of people.
No, we thought it was kind of funny. So this production coming up, the first one, Peter and the Starcatcher. This is the first week of November, actually first week and a half of November. Tell us about this, because this is interesting.
So Peter and the Starcatcher is conceived as the prequel to Peter Pan.
Okay.
It's how Peter Pan came about. How did he become the boy who didn't grow up or wouldn't grow up? And it's, you know, pirates and everything you want it to be. And the original production was 2009 on Broadway. And it was all meant to be like found objects and recycled costumes and recycled set pieces from other things, that this kind of storytelling aspect would be part of it. So I believe there's 12 actors in this, and they play over 100 characters.
Wow.
So they become lots of different things. And it's, you know, there's pirates. My favorite phrase is about, they have a chest full of magical star stuff. I love the word star stuff. I don't know why that has struck me so fun. And it's really about friendship, and it's about love, and it's about honor and duty, and all of these things that we want everybody to experience. And it's family friendly. It's you know, everybody can come to this and enjoy it and be moved by it and get something out of it. And it's just beautiful.
Now, you told me it's based on a novel by Dave Barry.
Correct.
Right, who wrote Peter Pan.
No,
Right?
J.M. Barry.
Oh,
J.M.
J.M. Barry
wrote Peter Pan, the book, and then there was recent books that were written based off of kind of the backstory behind it.
So is this, does this production about Peter Pan himself, or is this about James Barry, how he came about writing Peter Pan?
Okay, so it's about Peter Pan himself.
Okay.
Finding Neverland is about,
I remember that.
Is about J.M. Barry
Right.
actually writing Peter Pan. But this is really the prequel to Peter Pan and Captain Hook.
Okay, so you're seeing the backstory, so to
Absolutely,
speak.
right.
Okay.
Because prequels were really in for a while, you know, with the Star Wars prequels and kind of jumping into a franchise.
Yeah.
This is I think it sets up Peter Pan really.
And it is a musical? Because I see music by Wayne Barker.
It depends.
Okay.
It's not a musical, nor is it a play. It's a musical play.
Okay.
So there is music to it, there is singing, but it is not a musical.
It's not a typical musical.
It's not a typical, it's not.
Okay, where people just break into songs for no particular reason. Okay.
No, there's a reason, and there's a beautiful score actually that is being, we're doing as well, full bore. So it's beautiful.
And this is November 1st, and then goes to the 10th, and you can see all the dates are on there, a couple matinees, and then all the others are evening performances. And if you want tickets for this, saddleback.edu/arts for this. And it's the same website for if they want to buy
It's the same.
package.
It's the same website for that.
And the tickets for this are $20, $15 for seniors, $12 for students, and $10 for children. And it's really, you know, wonderful that you folks are doing this. You're bringing, I think, sometimes productions like this that most people have never heard of.
Right.
And you're telling a different kind of a story.
Right. And when we're picking shows, we're picking it in a couple of years that we know we want our students to have these experiences.
Right. Yeah.
And we know we want our audiences to have these experiences. And in over a 2 or 3 year time period, they're going to get such an incredible breadth of production and experiences. And and Heather's in the spring is going to be really fun. And then Inspecting Carol, a mystery around a Christmas Carol is going to be, I mean, it's appropriate for December.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, the Feast of Lights, right?
Feast of Lights will be the first full weekend of December. It's we have four performances, lots of beautiful things in that as well.
Now, are you a part of that still?
I'm still directing that.
Okay.
So I will be conducting.
And I always forget the other gentleman's name.
Yorgos Karitas.
Yeah. Is he still?
He is still there. He's still conducting.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a beautiful production again this year.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He is.
Yeah.
Incredibly nice and incredibly
Great sense of humor.
Yes, and a very, very gifted conductor.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see you again,
Good
Scott.
to see
We'll
you.
see you again, definitely.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And folks, again, if you want more information about this production or any of them, you go to saddleback.edu/arts, and from there, you can find out all about it. And they just do great productions down there. We'll be right back.
Imagine a life. Now imagine this life belongs to someone you care about. Someone you love. Your spouse, your parent, your child, best friend, sister, coworker, or neighbor. Of course, you'd want the best life imaginable for them. A life with caring, meaningful relationships. The chance to succeed in school. Fulfilling, challenging work and a rewarding career. In short, you'd want them to have a long and happy life. Now imagine there was something keeping them from these things. Something that prevented it from happening. Something invisible, powerful, and often overwhelming. The good news is people can and do get better. With treatment and support, up to 90% of people with mental health challenges report a better quality of life. The bad news is most people who need help don't seek help. Why? Stigma. Stigma is the brick wall. Stigma is the fear of being quickly labeled and having people judge and form opinions about you before they actually know you. Stigma can keep a person from seeking help and living the life they deserve. So what's the solution? Honesty. Because honesty is stigma's weak spot. When we speak honestly and openly about mental health, stigma loses its power. Honesty breaks down barriers and removes obstacles, so people may seek help sooner. Families and friends will understand how to help and support. Schools become more accepting and understanding. Businesses place a person's value where value should be placed. And people understand and reach out to others. Because a simple thing like honesty creates a culture where one thing doesn't define someone. It's just one small part of what makes a person, well, a person. Each Mind Matters is California's mental health movement dedicated to creating and fostering open and honest conversations about mental health that break down the barriers of stigma. By increasing awareness of mental health, change happens all around us. Families and friends learn how to help the ones they love. Systems and services adapt so assistance is readily available if needed. Communities recognize the importance of mental health. In fact, 80% of people believe that recovery from mental illness is possible, and more people are willing to socialize, work with, and live in neighborhoods with people with mental health issues than just a year ago. But your support and investment is vital to keep the movement moving, to reduce mental health stigma and enable people we love to live the lives they deserve.
And welcome back. Hey, I have a guest on from the wonderful garden club here that's been going on for, about 50 years?
Probably.
Yeah. And you're talking about, Kay Havens. Let me welcome Kay here today. And what we're really talking about today is coming up in a couple days. You're going to be having a meeting at Clubhouse 1, and it's about Grow the Great Park Garden.
Right, yes. So what we're, actually my friend Tina and I are going to be talking to the garden club and hoping to get people to let gardens grow on them. And it's an easy sell with this group because they love gardens as much as we do. Now what happened is Tina and I, as master gardeners, got out and saw gardens all over the world and thought, well, why don't we have one in our area? And started going to thinking one was going to be put into the Great Park. And it was originally on this. It was originally on the plan. And when somebody brought it to our attention that they were going out to the public, and public gardens wasn't one of the questions they were asking about what uses do you want to see at the Great Park, we thought, wait a minute, this has always been on the plan. Great parks, in great cities, always have wonderful botanical
Yeah, they
public
do.
gardens because they're wonderful places to have all kinds of wonderful events. And they just work. They really
They do, yeah.
Yeah, so we're hoping to, enlist some support and aid. The group of us got together. We're a really grassroots group of people, public-minded, who formed a 501c3. And everywhere we've gone, we've gotten terrific support. So a major law firm in Newport Beach put together our nonprofit corporation. And we have PlaceWorks, a major urban planner, putting together conceptual designs. So if you come to the meeting, you'll get to see some of these terrific conceptual designs. And in our travels, we thought, hey, who else does public gardens in America? And we linked up with the American Public Gardens Association and went to their first conference, which was held up at Disney 2 years ago, where 900 people showed up. And we were wowed. These people in doing public gardens today are just amazing. They're a younger group. They're really well educated. They're into making the world a better place. And we came home thrilled and invigorated.
Well, one of the things about public gardens in your plan for the great park is it's not just the fact of people going to a really nice place and enjoying it. It's about the educational aspect of it.
Right.
And quite often public gardens, well, almost all the time, one of the huge benefits of that is people can go and find out what is working in our area. What do I want to grow? Or, talk to master gardeners and things like that. So there's a lot more to it than just simply the enjoyment of it, which of course is huge. But they serve much more of a purpose.
That's even just a small part of it.
Yeah.
It's just a small part of what's going on in public gardens today because this new generation pulls in cultural events, pulls in civic events, pulls in corporate events, so that you can learn about gardens, and gardens are an integral part of life. So yes, we count on our avid gardeners being some of our greatest supporters, but what you'll find is the younger group, they aren't having gardens in their own homes as much because urban density is going up so much. And they don't really want to be mowing lawns. And they know that mowing lawns, that's a lot of petrochemicals that we don't need to use. But let's have a terrific public garden that everybody can enjoy. Makes so much sense. It really does.
And it's still, a huge subject. I know there's a garden show that we watch on YouTube, and they have, I don't know how many, 600,000 followers.
Right,
To the point of that this couple doesn't even, I don't want to say they don't work anymore, but they got to the point this is their livelihood. They have sponsors and
it's
and
big.
all this.
It's so big
huge.
in other parts of the world, and it'd be nice to start a culture here. If you look at this slide behind us, there's nothing out at the Great Park now.
No.
I mean, there is a sports park, but only 16-17% of the population play sports.
Right.
And 82% of the people support a public garden or someplace where they can go on their weekends. So for us, it's a no-brainer.
Let me ask you, are you with the garden club here, or are you with this organization, or both?
I'm with the garden. I am a member of the garden club, but I am foremost a member of this organization.
Okay.
Yes.
Here is sort of a map of what it could be one day. Where is, just in relation, down at the bottom there, where you see Marine Way and Ridge Valley, I'm assuming, is that where the balloon is?
Yes. Well, the balloon's kind of off a little bit to the left.
Yeah.
This is still all in flux.
Okay.
Because
But just so people have a vision of...
Right. The National
there right
Memorial
now.
Cemetery has now ended up on the golf course. We were thinking up kind of in the middle, arcing around the FAA beacon. And there might be some leftover property there. But originally we were slated to be down in what's called the Cultural Terrace. With
Right, I
museums.
remember that.
Yes.
I remember that rendering of kind of a river flowing through and walkways, and that goes way back.
Yeah, there probably won't be the grading that, that old plan has probably been, has been set aside because things have been built out there now. There's a major 600-acre sports park that's looking forward to probably the Olympics in 2028.
Oh, great.
So it'd be wonderful for the region if we had something more to do out there than just sports.
Yeah, and I know the... at least I think it's still on the plan, is the water park.
The water
going
park
there.
is kind of in and out depending
Yeah.
on funding. So
Okay.
they're trying to secure their funding. So
But this would be just wonderful.
yes, it would be good for everybody.
How big are you looking at? Or are
We're
you
looking
kinda-
at 59 acres, which
Okay.
to some people sounds like a lot, but it's just the equivalent of 5 holes of golf.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And you
So
wanna
something
pro-
you could fit in, you would certainly have
it
room
needs
for
to be an
that.
entity so
Yeah.
that when people go, they can have a half-day experience
Mm-hmm.
and relax. And if you cut it up too much, it's not as nice a place to be. You want to be able to have some space because that's part of the experience of getting out is getting out into those beautiful environments. So.
Yeah, and I've been to some nice ones. I mean, the famous Bouchard Gardens.
Yes,
Of course. but-
yes. Well, we can't do Bouchard because
No.
it would be too much water. But
Yes. And that's a consideration.
But you know what? Southern
Yeah.
California is so beautiful, and many times we go to places, especially for these conferences, where they have our climate under glass.
Yeah.
Because it's so precious, and to them to have that kind of a climate, and we can grow it all here right outside. So, we wouldn't necessarily have to put up a big glass house right away because
Yeah.
we live in the best weather in the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, if you want more information on this, again, their meeting is going to be on the 23rd. That's 2 days from now.
Join us.
Yeah, Clubhouse 1 at 2 o'clock. And Kay, of course, will be there, as will others. And you'll really hear about this plan a little bit more in detail. And I think it's great.
I'm looking forward to it. We should have a lot of fun, and we'll have some great pictures for people to see and lots of concepts. So we're going to have a great time.
Very good. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Ken.
All right,
I
you take
appreciate
care.
it very much.
We'll
Thank
be right
you.
back.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From a delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
Hey, Laguna Woods, it's Ken.
And Lisa.
Did you miss an episode of This Day? Not to worry. Head over to youtube.com and search Village Television.
Here you can find each episode of This Day and other community programs such as Good Day OC, Discovering Laguna Woods, and much more.
Just click the red subscribe button, then click the bell to be emailed every time we upload a video.
Don't miss out.
And subscribe today.
Thank you for joining us. Today I have Dr. June Chen, who is a dedicated breast radiologist, and we're going to talk about tomosynthesis. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So tomosynthesis is probably something a lot of people haven't heard of. Can you tell me what it is?
Yeah, so tomosynthesis is also called a 3D mammogram. And the way it's different from a standard 2D digital mammogram is that in addition to the single flat picture that the 2D mammogram offers, with the 3D tomosynthesis, there is a 3D image of the breast that's taken. So that allows the radiologist to evaluate the 3D picture of the breast layer by layer, so we can see the breast in greater detail.
So when a patient is asking, or they go to their doctor, okay, we would like you to go get a mammogram, is this something that they have to ask for extra, or is it just an automatic thing?
It is something that her doctor needs to order.
Okay.
Now, she may or may not need to ask her doctor. Her doctor may bring it up
Okay.
by themselves.
Okay.
However, it does need to be on the order form and indicated whether or not you want just the standard 2D mammogram, or do you want the combination 2D mammogram plus the tomosynthesis mammogram.
And when we were talking earlier, you were telling me that you are finding more cancers with the tomosynthesis rather than just using the 2D.
Yes, that's correct. It's very exciting for us that we now have the 3D tomosynthesis because it does allow us to find more breast cancers, especially the invasive breast cancers, which are the types that are lethal if not found early.
Okay.
So obviously, the earlier that we can find these breast cancers, the more lives that can be saved.
Okay.
And in recent years, the research studies have indicated that with the addition of the 3D tomosynthesis mammogram, more cancers can be found. So that's very exciting for our community.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Let's talk about the machine that's used. Is it the same machine for both 2D and 3D?
So the 3D mammogram is still a mammogram. It still uses x-rays of the breast. It is a little bit different in that now a portion of that mammogram, oh, this is wonderful.
Okay.
Pictures come up. A portion of that mammogram machine can now swing and produce an arc. And that's indicated on the picture to the right, where the machine is tilted a little bit to the right rather than being straight up and down.
Okay.
And what that's doing is it's capturing mammogram pictures from different angles.
Okay.
And this allows us to produce the three-dimensional picture that we can then, as radiologists, look through layer by layer.
And I think you said it only takes like 10 seconds extra.
Correct. Depending on the machine, it may vary a little bit. However, it does not take very much longer, 10, 11 seconds. And the compression is the same. And sometimes a woman may not even realize that she had gotten the extra 3D tomosynthesis, but they have because it's quick and easy, not that different from just receiving the standard 2D mammogram.
Okay, and so where would they have this done, the 3D mammogram? Is it located within our vicinity here?
So we at BreastLink at our centers, we have 3D tomosynthesis machines.
Okay, great, great. And then would it matter whether or not someone had dense breast versus maybe a breast implant?
So that's a great question. Tomosynthesis is really a wonderful addition to the 2D mammogram for virtually all of our patients.
Okay.
It is particularly useful in women who have dense breast tissue.
Okay.
And the reason for this is because breast cancers can be hidden in dense breast tissue on a mammogram. And so the addition of the 3D tomosynthesis allows us to examine the breast in greater detail and, as I said, layer by layer. So we're able to see each portion of the breast in smaller slices and in greater detail.
Okay. And one last thing, what would you say to all of the women out there about tomosynthesis?
Oh, I just think it's a wonderful addition to the 2D mammogram. I would highly encourage all women to speak to their physician about ordering it. And I think in addition to getting the 2D mammogram annually, add on the 3D tomosynthesis.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you very much for the information.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And remember, if you would like to know anything about what it is that we've talked about today, you can always go to radnet.com. Thank you.
At the Memorial Care Breast Center, Saddleback, you will always find a friendly face to guide you through your annual mammogram visit. Our staff, dedicated subspecialist breast radiologists, knowledge, and innovative technology await your visit to our center. With the Laguna Woods shuttle service right at our sidewalk, this convenient location offers you quick access for your appointment. You can expect nothing but the best for all your breast health needs at Memorial Care Breast Center, Saddleback.
If you have Medicare, you got to get Alignment Health Plan's Black Card. It's a member-only benefit, unlike anything I've ever seen, giving you access to one-on-one health support any time of day or night. Need to schedule an appointment or need it right there? They'll take care of it. Now you can talk to a doctor 24 hours a day. Call them and get a card of your own, and all the benefits you deserve, too.
sick.
Well, our movie coming up today is a classic movie. I think a lot of you have probably heard of this, called Rushmore. And this has always had like this cult following behind it. Came out in 1999. And it's all about this young man who is in a prep school. And when a beautiful first grade teacher arrives at the school, she soon attracts the attention of this ambitious teenager named Max, who is played by Jason Schwartzman. He quickly falls in love with her, and Max turns to his father, played by Bill Murray, and two of his schoolmates for advice on how to woo the teacher. However, the situation soon gets complicated when Max's new friend becomes involved with her, setting the two pals up against one another in a war for her attention. This was directed by Wes Anderson, and it stars Olivia Williams as well. So that will be today at 2 and at 6 o'clock. And then on Friday, we have a sequel called Men in Black International. You know, you probably remember Men in Black, the one with Will Smith. I know they made at least 2 of those. They might have made 3. Well, this is an updated version of this. And in this one, Chris Hemsworth is in this, and Tessa Thompson, and there you see them there. And they have expanded the Men in Black group to cover the globe, but so have the villains of the universe. To keep everyone safe, decorated Agent H and determined Rookie M join forces in an unlikely pairing that just might work out. When the aliens that can take the form of any human arrive on Earth, H and M embark on a globe-trotting adventure to save the agency and ultimately the world from their mischievous plans. Now, of course, this is a comedy, as you remember the first one. I know the first couple ones I saw, I haven't seen this one, and they were fun. They were really fun to watch. Of course, Chris Hemsworth, he also plays Thor. So this will be on Friday at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. And it looks like a really fun movie. They always were. So look forward to that one. Now, a couple things that are coming up this week you might be interested in. This is the Republican Club of Laguna Woods. They're going to have their meeting on Friday, the 25th, at Clubhouse 5. It starts at 11 o'clock. This will also be a lunch as well. And their guest speaker, Craig Van Doren, is co-founder of the Honor Flight Southland. And what Honor Flight does, they take veterans and they do fundraising to take these veterans to Washington, D.C., and then take them around to see all the war memorials and the Smithsonian, and give them 2 or 3 days as a special treat to Washington. And that's what this gentleman is going to be talking about, how they came about this and the history behind it and how you can get involved as well. So that will be at Clubhouse 5, this Friday, the 25th, 11 a.m. The meeting starts at 11:30, and then they have a lunch and then the speaker as well. So it'll be about a 3-hour event if you'd like to join him for that. And I'm looking on here, I believe he said the cost is $20, but I'm not sure on that. You can go online to the club pages and then link to the Republican Club to get more information about that. Now, coming up this Saturday, the 26th, the city of Laguna Woods, along with many cities throughout the Southland, are going to be having their National Prescription Medication Take-Back Day. This will happen over here at the city, and it will be from 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. It gives you an opportunity to bring in all unwanted, unused, and expired prescription medication. It's free, it's anonymous, no questions asked. They do ask you do not bring any sharps or marijuana or pressure canisters. So that's another time that they collect those. But this is just medications of all kinds that you can take there. You don't want to be throwing these things away or flush them or anything like that. Take them back to a place like this to here, and it's a great way to get rid of them. 10 o'clock to 2, right in front of City Hall there, and that will be, if you're in another city, they're all kind of doing this on the same date and time. But the closest one, of course, here is the City of Laguna Woods City Council chambers. Now, also coming up this week, or actually next week, excuse me, it's October 30th, It's the fall prevention workshop that's being put on by Memorial Care Saddleback Hospital as well as your social services department. And this is going to be just a great workshop, and Dr. David Law will be there. And they're going to be talking about the 4 M's of why you have falls. And I'm not going to tell you all of them here. You'll find out there, but there's like a 4-part thing that they all kind of work together to help prevent this. And it will be free. No registration is required. It will be next Tuesday, 2:30 to 4 at Clubhouse 7, and refreshments will be served. Now, as far as the weather goes, well, a little warm today and tomorrow. We're going to be a little less so on Wednesday, but then go back up again Thursday and Friday. And on Thursday and Friday, there's the, right now in the forecast, the Santa Ana winds will return. As of right now, they look like fairly mild winds. You know, that could change. We'll see what happens. Just like the past couple of days, we were supposed to get winds down in Orange County, and we really didn't. Actually, the winds in general throughout Southern California weren't as strong as first forecasted. So let's hope they aren't strong on Thursday and Friday, but you can see it's going to be a relatively warm week. We'll go down a little bit on Wednesday. Looking ahead, by the way, till the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're going to get the fog back in. I think that'll probably come in Friday evening. So that's good, but a little warm for sure. All right, we will see you tomorrow. We're going to have on a couple guests from the East West Wellness Medical Center, and then Beth Parrott from Thrive, Cash Akrakar from the India Club, and also somebody from the Senior Medicare Patrol. We'll find out all about that. Take care. Bye-bye.
I'm falling and I can't turn back.